what's happening, everybody? It's me, your resident supervillain, Mr. J. Washington. I'm back with another great interview with you guys. This time I had the opportunity to speak with the designer of the costumes that we see from a lot of the heroes and villains of the DC CW television shows, Mr. Andy Poon. We talked with Andy about how he got his start, where he started working out at first on Smallville, how his inclusion in the Arrow began, where he gets the inspiration for the costumes, where does it go further, some of the ones he would like to do, some of the more challenging ones to do as well. So go ahead, take a listen to this, and I hope you guys fully enjoy it. And here it is, Mr. Andy Poon. Many of us have loved to see some of our favorite characters from the DC universe come to life on the small screen thanks to the CW. And one of the most amazing things about it are the costumes that we see with our heroes in. Now, for almost exact replications of some, and others with some minor tweaks, they are always a sight to behold, and they start with one man, the artist who designs them. And I have the chance to speak with him right now, Mr. Andy Poon. Andy, what's happening?
Hi, Jay. How's it going?
I'm doing well, man. Doing well. I'm glad to talk to you.
Yeah, I didn't know you actually live in Gotham yourself.
I live in LA now, but I'm born and raised in Gotham, in real life Gotham, in Chicago.
I don't know. I think you're just pretending you're in LA, but actually you live in Gotham. I don't know.
I wish that was the case. I would have direct pictures of Batman. So let me start off. Let me start off by asking you this: how did you become the proverbial chosen one to design all these great costumes?
Oh man. Well, I think it actually all started. So I actually worked on Smallville as well. And then I think one day I just got a phone call out of nowhere, and from the costume designer in Smallville. Her name was Carolyn Cranston, and she was like, "We're working on a show, and there's this character. I'm not sure you're familiar with him or not, but his name is Green Arrow." And then I'm like, "Oh, I heard of it." Inside, I'm like shaking, like vibrating. I'm like phasing through things. So that's kind of how I started in terms of the superhero genre. There's not many of me out here in Vancouver. So I'm in Vancouver, Canada. That's where the show are shot as well. There's not as many of me out here versus like in LA. There is like essentially like a troupe of like concept artists that works in superhero things. So I'm kind of the superhero guy in town. Typecasting, but I love it.
I mean, I wouldn't complain. I mean, that superhero typecasting guy gets you constant work as of right now.
So I'm not complaining. So that's kind of how I started with the CW. But I started in the industry actually like 15 years ago now, almost. My first big gig was I was working illustrations on iRobot, the Will Smith film.
Oh wow!
And then since then, I just kind of worked with most of the designers in town. Sometimes from LA. It's just kind of big crew, but very tight. So they just kind of keep word of mouth, passing my name around. One point, I met the crew from X-Men, so that was cool. So yeah, that's just kind of how I started.
Dude, that's an amazing story. So let me ask this. Along with the classic designs that we know from many of our heroes, even some bad guys, where does the inspiration for the updates to the costumes we see come from? The different tweaks and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, so, I mean, it'll sound cliche, but, like, we all actually, from the very high up and down to us, like, we all start from the source, the great material from the comic books. I mean, like, why look elsewhere when all the research has been done for us already? And that's kind of what the fans love, so we have to start from there. But then as we know, like, different shows. I actually started on Arrow first. That's my main show. I work with the costume designer Maya Manny. And so that show, I mean, when it started, I think also the right show to start. It's a lot more grounded. It's a lot more relatable. We don't quite have, I mean, he wears leather, but he's not wearing like tights or like, full on cowls quite yet. So I think it's a much easier transition to the mainstream audience. And I mean, Marvel also been laid down a lot of good groundworks in terms of the genre already for the mainstream audience. So yeah, the comic books always. Now, because each show has different tones, so Arrow is the most grounded. He is kind of essentially Batman of the CW. Flash is like the middle ground. It's grounded, but we got some fantasy stuff, and Legends of Tomorrow just bonkers, right?
Legends is all over the place, and I love it because of that.
It's Legends of everywhere. So based on the different tones of the show, then we start adding our own elements in terms of, okay, Arrow needs to be grounded. So any technology or even the more superhero design lines, we need to give it more realistic purpose to it. We need to make the Arrow suit kind of resemble some of the graphics of the comic book, but then we need to give them meanings. Like, so maybe they are different Kevlar plates and stuff that assembles that. And then when we go to Flash, okay, we can worry a little bit less about logic, because, he can time travel. So that we can stick closer to the comic book. But I think also because Flash was the second show, so we need to have some visual tie-in from the Arrowverse. So you can definitely tell there's more direct translation that has been ported through the Arrowverse in terms of design aesthetic. But then we can definitely take it further from the fantasy to the fantasy world. Mm. Then Supergirl comes along. It's just straight up comic book, because we build the groundwork already, and she's an alien. So that one we can definitely draw a lot more attention to the comic book designs. But day to day I get lots of questions from fans, like, why doesn't Flash have yellow boots and stuff? So some things still might not work exactly as we would like. I know a lot of fans want to see it, but someday we might get it, and then sometimes just we tried it actually a lot of times, and it just doesn't quite work with the versions that we got. So yeah, I understand, because coming from the world of a fan as well. So would I like to see Black Canary with fishnet? Hell yes. But when people are shooting bullets at her on screen, I'm not quite sure how well that is protecting her. So yeah.
And I think that's the thing people don't get, is that a lot of times the original ideas that we know and love from the comic books don't translate on screen. It would be easy to say, I want to see these boots, I want to see this, that, and the third. But visually on screen, especially with these new ultra high definition cameras and whatnot, it'd just be like, oh my God, why did they do that? Be like, but you asked for it.
Right. And sometimes we also have to think about, the big controversial character would be Superman with his red undies, right? Like,
yeah.
We have to remember some of these characters were designed from a different timeline, literally, a different era. So, I think that's why comic books are awesome, because, literally you can do whatever versions. But when it comes to screen, I think that's when we need to kind of put a little filter on in terms of what actually makes sense to this day and age. It's cool, like DC start, like the movies start, maybe they're treading into territories of like Elseworld stuff. So maybe that's when we kind of start seeing more like faithful costume that actually makes sense for the film itself. So I think that's exciting. And Legends, that's perfect. They time travel. We get to see Golden Age version of the costume. We get to see like Silver Age version of the costume. So I think there's time and place for like the faithful comic book costumes, but maybe just not like a whole show of it. So, and I don't know, as a fan, I would love to see just a full episode that for some reason, Arrow's wearing the Robin Hood suit.
Right.
And, just for whatever reason, like a Twin Peaks version.
Oh, dear God. I think if they did a Twin Peaks version of any of the shows, I would cry laughing for the entire hour. I'm not going to lie. Because I would be sitting there just going, I can't believe they did it and stuck to it. Like, somebody pitched this in a writer's room and they were like, fine, we're doing it. Like, I would lose it.
Right? So, I think Smallville, they actually did a version at the Halloween costume party where Oliver Queen was literally wearing the Robin Hood outfit.
Oh
So.
Lord. So let me ask, when you talked about controversy which some people may have with characters, and I got to talk about the most recent quote unquote controversy, and it's the new Flash suit. Everybody seems to be
Right.
nitpicking over just not having a
Mhm.
chin strap. What was the design? What was the idea behind that design, and why was the chin strap something was like, we're going to get rid of this time?
Right. So okay. So this year, actually, the first year, I didn't work on the Flash suit, but I know the people that are involved.
Okay.
So probably because it's not quite out yet, but I probably can't really exactly talk about that. But
Okay.
I mean, like usually, like I mean, how it goes is like we're not the only people like helping with the design. The actors and producers, they also have the input. So usually anytime there's a change to the costume, it's not just, oh, new season, we're doing something just for fun for no reason. There's actually like practicality involved, maybe, like how what's the comfort for the actor to get in now. I mean, sometimes they have to shoot in it for like many hours
Yeah.
in the hot sun or the cold, for vice versa, and some of the things we need to build into, much like if we are a real superhero, we need to think about the practicality of wearing this for a long duration of time. So some of the things that fans wonder about, it could possibly come from like literally the physical comfort for the actor, but also maybe for the stunts. Sometimes it's just literally just, let's refresh the look a little bit. So we combo that into the new costume. So usually those are the main factors of a costume adjustment between seasons. So of course, along with the storyline
Hmm.
of like where the costume is coming from this season. So.
Oh man, that's I'm glad to hear that because this way it gives people who are listening more of an understanding instead of just thinking, oh, the designers, like you said, just want to tweak something. There are different elements involved in different changes with the costumes, and I'm glad to know that. What has been some of your most challenging ones to design?
Ooh, there. Well, okay. The first one I can think of definitely was Deathstroke.
Okay, first of
Um,
all, thank you for saying that. He is my favorite hero or villain. I have a Deathstroke wallpaper on my phone, and
Excellent.
I tag everything I do in the gym, Mister Mirakuru. And I want to tell you this before we go further. I spent $1,800 to recreate a Deathstroke costume when I was back home in Chicago for Halloween.
Wow. Wow.
Hey man, I'm a
That's
fan. I'm a fan of the work. Okay, I was doing all the research, finding all the angles I could of steals from that costume. But go ahead, as you were
Well, I
saying.
don't know. I've seen some of your workout videos. I don't know. You might be taking some mirror crew. We just don't know. I don't know, man.
Who knows? But yeah, how challenging was it to design that costume?
So uh, the character of Deathstroke himself actually wasn't the most difficult to design, but it was because when we got the task to, or we got informed that Deathstroke is showing up on Arrow, it was the same time that he was showing up in the Arkham game, and it looked freaking amazing. The first cinematic fight of him fighting Batman, like around
Mm-hmm.
these cargo containers in the snow,
Yeah.
like we're like, what the hell are we gonna do? Like we're like, oh, we're just like stunned. So I think at that point we're like, okay, we know our show is not Arkham. Arkham is realistic, but still got a trace of fantasy element to it.
Yeah.
Like the Deathstroke armor in the game is still actually quite medieval inspired. Got the chin guard and everything, and the scale mail. So we know we're not doing that. So that in some way it's a restriction, but that helps us separating our course. And we know our show is very like tactical military base.
Mm-hmm.
So we're like, okay, great. So that's when we start, going towards that realm of in terms of his gear. Like, it could be a military or advanced military prototype, some sort of armor. And we know kind of what Slay Wilson has went through. He's a little bit cuckoo, so okay, maybe there's a little bit of eccentric touch from him that he add onto the armor. And then also there's an underlayer of some of the actual pieces from the original Deathstroke costume he was wearing on the island. So I think with the amalgamation of those three factors, I think that's kind of where we landed on. And the funny story also, season one Arrow and season two, like everything is very dark and black, and
Mm-hmm.
and then my first question was, can we use orange?
Really?
Like, can we have color? And then costume designer Maya Manny was like, yes, we can. I was like, yes. So ending up having orange and blue, which was groundbreaking for the Arrow universe because Starling City only sells black clothing.
Man, they only have dark tones. Like you guys don't have a Forever 21 or an H&M out here?
It's like the Lego Batman says, I wear black, sometimes really, really dark gray.
Yep.
So that was exciting. I was like, yes, we can have pops of color. Because I mean, how do you build Deathstroke without the orange? You can't.
Right, it would be a really awkward character if you like, no, this is Deathstroke and just an all black mask. You'd be like, let's not really do this.
It's like what, black and brown instead of orange?
A really, really light brown. Like, no, let's not. Don't do. Don't do that.
So, so in that sense, he was quite challenging, just because of the game came out with this amazing Deathstroke, and we know ours going to get compared to, and thank God, like it was received very well, and the creator of Deathstroke actually said he really likes it, so we were like, okay, I know I'm not getting pitchforks outside my house. That's my biggest worry every single time. And then, but I think the next one also, the actual difficult one to design was the Atom suit.
Yeah, that one was a completely different change from what the
Yeah.
comic book version was. I mean, you guys went full practical and not just any type of spandex in a sense.
Yeah. So his origin was, initially he was supposed to be Ted Core, in the
Ah,
show.
okay.
I think, and I don't think this is any spoiler. I think Mark Guggenheim actually had said it himself. But I think at that point they had plans for Ted Core, so they couldn't quite use the character. So they, went through the Rolodex and let's found the next cool scientist guy that fits the bill. So I think they landed on Ray Palmer, and I think also they kind of have the mindset like, oh, he's a scientist guy, he developed like technology, so they make the change that he's gonna wear some sort of high tech exoskeleton suit rather than the traditional a spandex suit, like you said. I know in the comics, I think maybe the New 52 or the Rebirth, he does have a version that kind of have like a helmet, almost a little bit more Ant-Man like.
Yeah, definitely in the Rebirth series. Yeah.
Yeah, he got some hardware on him, but not quite to the degree what we have done. So I think with the story arc that they gave him, it kind of makes sense for him to want to build a suit of armor to kind of help not let his fiance, what happened to his fiance, happen to the world again. And like the undersuit, we have explored that that maybe underneath his helmet, like he does have like a cowl kind of thing, kind of like a Formula One driver that has a fire protective, and maybe that cowl looks like the traditional Atom the suit. We play with that, but again, like for the comfort thing, you already have to wear the armor, and we don't want to make him wear like another layer again.
Right.
But so that was another funny conversation when they first told me like, hey Andy, like I think we're gonna do the Atom. I'm like, cool, I know what he looks like. And then they were like, but we want him in an exosuit. I'm like, excuse me? I exosuit. No, not that. It wasn't because I didn't buy the idea of him wearing exosuit. It was because I know exactly how much these things cost to make. Like I know how much Deathstroke's suit costs to make, and they're like telling me to essentially design an Iron Man suit. I'm like, are you sure? It's gonna be expensive. They're like, yep. Now, at this point, I didn't know that he's going to become the new lead of a new show of Legends.
Right.
So I thought he was going to be like a secondary character. So I was like, that's a lot of money. And they're like, yep, don't worry about it. Just go nuts. So, all right. I'm like, you tell me to go nuts. So I went home, geeked out, flipped through comic books, looked through references and whatnot. Came back and did the whole skeleton suit. We looked at reference, based on like advanced military and some of the prototype firefighting exoskeleton that help firefighter lift heavy objects and such. So and advanced prosthetic as well. So that's kind of where it kind of stems from in terms of the actual Adam suit. And it was challenging because it's a completely new look from the traditional comic book look that fans are used to. And also, but making it, we work on TV, we're not dealing with like Marvel budget, even though the suit is very expensive. We need to make something that actually suitable for the TV screen, and not trying to, overachieve and trying to make a movie version, but then we actually cannot achieve that, and then turns out to look like a watered down version from the movie. And that's always a danger in terms of designing these things, to actually design for the medium and not trying to overachieve and pretend we're something else. So in that sense, that suit was a big challenge, and amazing team worked on it. So I'm pretty happy with it. I know some people joke about the helmets looking a little bit like what's it 90s movie of the roller derby?
Oh man, I know what you're talking about. Oh god, I can't remember the name of it. Oh, I know exact movie you're talking about.
Might be rollerball or something. Yeah. I know people joke. I mean, I don't know. I'm a fan, so I'm like, oh, okay, fine. Like I don't take things too personally, but because I'm a fan as well, so I'm like, okay. But I think the suit was fairly well received as well, so that was another like, oh, okay, no pitchfork this time. Maybe next time.
Well,
Yeah.
it's a great thing you've done with that suit and all the other ones you've helped to design and helped to create. And as a fan of the shows, I definitely do love them. I love to see more. So whenever I'm hearing a new character is coming aboard, I'm always interested to see. So I have to, before I let you go, I have to ask this last question: are you going to be involved in designing the Batwoman suit?
No, unfortunately, I was literally like knocking on doors. So as soon as I heard it announced, I know it's being done in LA. So who knows? I don't know. A lot of the time, actually, all the first suits of each show was actually initially done in LA first, and then if maybe when it comes to Vancouver, because then the Vancouver crew would have to pick it up, then maybe I'll get to work on it. It'll be awesome. It was really funny. Like me and my other designer friends, like in LA, like we're literally like almost like have like a. Have you seen the Hateful Eight?
Yes, I have. Yeah, I love the Hateful Eight is one of my favorite films.
So imagine like a group of designers, okay, I'm in Vancouver in like a virtual room trying to like see who's doing the suit, who's not telling the truth. So we're literally playing that game like, okay, are you doing it or are you doing it? Yeah.
Oh,
So we're still speculating. So
okay. Well, Matt,
I would
go
love to
ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, nothing. I was saying I would love to get my hands on the Bat universe because, like you, Batman is my man.
Oh,
I
yes.
know I'll probably never get to work on a Batman TV show.
I like how you threw that out there.
Soon.
I like how you threw that out there. I probably will never get to work. Hint, hint.
Yeah. So, yeah. But anyway, so.
But yeah, I wanted to definitely take this time to thank you, Andy, for taking some of your time to speak with me. Before I let you go, tell the people out there how they can get in touch with Andy Poon.
Yeah, so I'm on most social media. Andy Poon Design. Andy, and that Poon is Poon, and then Design, all one word. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram and Twitter. Yeah, feel free to pay me. I usually answer a lot of questions if you ask me about behind the scenes stuff. Of course, whatever I can say. But I do just want to say it was kind of shitty what happened to Grant. I mean, sure, there's photo leak and stuff, and you know, as a fan, we cannot like the design of the suit, but then I really don't understand how come it so fast turned into like body shaming.
Yeah, it real quick turned into a whole mess unnecessarily.
I just remember us were like, just happy that there's a TV show about superheroes. Um, and we can comment on the suits and stuff, but like I don't know how attacking the actor is. It's not even their choice of what the costume looks like. so so yeah, I just want to kind of bring that up because I just find it really weird now. I mean, I'm turning 35 this year, so I don't know, maybe I'm getting old, but it's just a really weird fandom world that we're in, I find. So
I think some of the weird fans, yes, we are, because I've talked about it many times. Unfortunately, I think some of the fans that we're talking about that are the weird ones are in our demographic. Are in because I'm around the same age as you, so I believe that it's many of those who can't let go and understand things have to evolve and go forward. And I wish that would definitely change because what's going to happen is it's going to make actors not want to be these characters anymore. It's going to make people not want to deal with the fandom and the unnecessary hateful comments.
yeah, I mean, we already heard. I think the director of Logan, he was gonna do some Star Wars, and then I think him and another director was like, no, we don't
Yeah,
really want
him
to
and
deal
Chris
with that
McQuarrie were like
tough stuff.
him and Christopher McQuarrie, the director of Mission Impossible Fallout, was like, no,
Yeah,
it's
we
even
want
gotten
him to
bad.
do Superman.
Yeah, and it's actually gotten bad to the point where Ruby Rose, who we just spoke about becoming Batwoman, has quit Twitter.
Like, see, like, yeah, like, I mean, don't fans want to have access to these people? So stop pushing them away. Like, and
Yeah.
I just really don't understand how this, how is that Ruby Rose or Grant Gustin or what's that name? Marie Tran, the Star
Oh
Wars
yeah,
girl.
Kelly Marie Tran. Yeah.
Like, how was any of these part of script? They don't like the script. They don't like the suit. How is it any of their fault? Like Starfire. Do you
Oh,
think she designed the? Do you think she designed the look? Do you think like was it her choice that she had to be Starfire? She got casted. It was somebody else's choice. If you don't like the choice, don't attack the actor.
exactly. It's
You
not
know?
their choice to. Yeah, yeah. You're absolutely. We could go on and on about this discussion because I hate it so much that happens. I literally
Sorry on
hate
the
it.
down. Sorry to end it on the down note, but like
Uh,
I don't really talk a lot very often on social media, but just talking to you, I'm just like I kind of have to bring it up because I'm like it's not cool because we want the actors to be excited, and they were all excited when they
yeah.
get the role and filming. So let them be. If you don't want to support it, that's fine. Don't watch it. Like how we don't like movies, we don't support it, and then that's the feedback.
I never got I don't understand why people don't get that, especially again with the Starfire, because my biggest issue was you're mad that a black woman is playing an orange alien. I need people to listen on
Right,
how stupid that sounds.
right.
You
And
know,
but I think a lot of times the race thing was just the easy explanation. Like some of those people that they can find an intelligent way to actually comment on like how don't they like the character appears. I think that's just the easy escape for them to went to gender, race, but
yeah.
that's just a crappy way to go. So
Yeah, we can keep talking about this, but again, I want to let you get back to what you got to do. Andy Poon, I thank you for taking your time out with talking with me, man. I look forward to seeing more of your creations come to life on the small screen, as I'm sure many of us do as well. Thank you so much, man. You have a wonderful day.
you too, anytime, man.
All right. Once again, I want to thank Mr. Andy Poon for taking time out to speak with me. Again, you can find him on Twitter and Instagram at Andy, A-N-D-Y, Poon, P-O-O-N, Designs, D-E-S-I-G-N-S, all right? But thank you for everybody that's listening. Always, you can find me on Twitter and Instagram myself at Mr. J Washington. It's M-R-J-A-Y. You already know how to spell Washington. And make sure you join the Supervillain Squad. Patreon.com/Mr. J Washington. I got a bunch of other interviews coming up that are going exclusively to Patreon and a lot of other fun things as well. But you're only going to get them on Patreon. That is the only way you're going to find them. So you have to join the squad. And guess what? It's only $5, so you ain't going to miss anything. All right? So listen, I will holler at you guys later. Take care. I'm out of here. Peace.